Okay, so President Trump and Anthony Scaramucci are breaking up. Yeah, it's apparently a pretty bitter breakup. The Mooch is being honest about President Trump, and President Trump doesn't like it, so they're in a public battle right now. Also, it's interesting that there's a guy in Montana who is charged with assault after a witness said he threw a 13-year-old boy to the ground because the 13-year-old boy did not remove his hat during the national anthem at a rodeo in Montana. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the national anthem itself stand for the freedom to not take off your hat? Is it disrespectful? Of course it's disrespectful. But to take a 13-year-old kid who probably didn't realize what he was doing, to throw a 13-year-old kid to the ground because he didn't remove his hat, excuse me, during the national anthem? Man, this country is becoming far too sensitive about things that are just so superficial. You know, we're missing the big picture of what it really means to be an American. And so this 13-year-old kid doesn't take off his hat. This guy throws a 13-year-old kid to the ground. Well, that was a big mistake. I'm Scoot, and this is Scoot on the Air, SOTA, YouTube, and this is the Daily Hit, also to be shared on my website, scootontheair.com. Why didn't a U.S. athlete who took a knee during the national anthem after winning on the medal podium, this U.S. athlete did not take a knee? Did take a knee during the national anthem at the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. Why did this not get attention? Is it because it's a U.S. member of the fencing team? Is it because the guy is white? Is it because fencing is just not as big as the NFL, so it just doesn't attract the same kind of attention? This young man said that he took a knee because he said, we must call for change. And it is true. There are things in America that need to change. In fact, there are quite a few things that need to change. It doesn't mean you're not proud to be an American. It doesn't mean you're not a patriotic American. But to be blind to the fact that there are changes that need to take place is really not being a very patriotic American, because you're just being, you're brainwashed. You're not looking at the reality of the situation. But I find it interesting that this U.S. athlete took a knee during the national anthem. He's white, he's a member of the fencing team, and this just did not get attention. I don't know that it's about race. I think it has more to do with the fact that it's the U.S. fencing team as opposed to the NFL. And I know there's an attempt to turn everything into race. But if a white NFL player took a knee during the national anthem, that would get attention. So in this particular case, let's just say it's the fact that it's the U.S. fencing team, which is not a high-profile sport, and not the fact that the guy who took the knee and said he disagrees with some things in the United States is white. I don't really think that is the issue. But going back just a minute to the guy who slammed his 13-year-old kid to the ground for not taking his hat off. Man, 13-year-old kids forget to do stuff. 13-year-old kids sometimes just don't get it. It doesn't mean that 13-year-old kid's not being patriotic just because he didn't take his hat off. It is respectful to take your hat off, and you should. But if you don't, these two things are kind of related, because when did we become a nation where you don't have freedom of expression? You know, the First Amendment and the American flag itself represents the freedom to burn the flag. Now, I don't think anybody should burn the flag. But theoretically, the flag represents the freedom one has to do that. The words of the Star-Spangled Banner represent the freedom, if the kid didn't want to do it on purpose, to not take his hat off. Tim Ryan, one of the Democrats running for president, was the only one on the stage that particular night during the CNN debates that did not put his hand on his heart for the playing of the national anthem. And this is something that's new, by the way. I mean, baby boomers grew up and you put your hand on your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. We never put our hand on our heart for the Star Spangled Banner. This is developed in more recent times. And it's almost as if some people are looking for certain criteria by which to judge whether or not you're an American. Not only do you have to take your hat off, not only do you have to stand, but you now put your hand on your heart, which I'm fine with. And I put my hand on my heart. But it wasn't always that way. And just because somebody doesn't put their hand on their heart does not mean they somehow hate this country. What we really need is a better definition of what it takes to be a patriotic American. And it bothers a lot of people when I talk about being a patriotic American, because I'm not a right-wing conservative. And many right-wing conservatives believe that they own the title of patriotic American. You don't. You don't. I obey the laws. I try to be a good citizen. I believe in this country. I'm honest enough to recognize some things that need to change, in the same way that right-wing conservatives thought a lot in this country needed to change when Barack Obama was president. So it's okay to call yourself an American, right? Let's not be hypocritical here. It's okay to call yourself a patriotic American if you think that maybe some things with the presidency and with the country should change. There is precedent for this. A lot of people don't want to hear that. But I'm a patriotic American because every day on my radio show, on WWL, and on these videos on my YouTube channel and my website and Facebook, all of these videos and everything that I do on radio show great respect for the First Amendment. And I allow people with differing views to comment, to call into my radio show, to text my radio show. I actually sometimes give more attention to those who disagree with me than those who agree with me. So every day, I am respecting the Constitution. Every day, I'm being a good citizen as best I can. I mean, we all make mistakes. We're human. Every day, I support this country. So even though I am not right-wing, I am a patriotic American. And every day on my radio show and in these videos, I feel compelled to make sure that everybody understands that being a patriotic American is not flying the flag. It's not being a right-wing conservative. It's about being an American. And it's also about respecting the freedom that we have to disagree. Flying the American flag is a great thing. Putting an American flag pin on your lapel, great thing. But those things don't make you patriotic. It's your actions, and it's your understanding of the Constitution. And the First Amendment explains that in order to be a patriotic American, you must understand the freedom to express an opinion that is different from others.